about to get a beautiful, beautiful brick wall for our driveway. Okay, so a really important detail for you to think about when you are designing a landscape are not only are the views beautiful from the outside, but what do they look like from the inside? We fully believe that the garden needs to feel connected and feel a part of the home, and so we always like to, before we do our final install, walk through the entire home, look at all the viewpoints, even from the upstairs on the second level, so we know exactly what everything's going to look like and to make sure we don't need to make any tweaks. So not only look on the outside, but also be sure to look at your views from the inside. Okay, so we're in the process of building the drain boxes, making sure we have room for plenty of water to come off of these gorgeous copper downspouts. So these are our boxes, and if you look way down below, now we're getting tons of water. That's gonna come off this roof line, and we're pulling around from the driveway. It's all gonna daylight over there. So we're leveling up, making sure it's just perfect. We are getting ready to pour the concrete in the pool deck tomorrow. I'm really excited. It's going to be a salt-pitted finish. But some things that are super important is, one, always think about your furniture placement and where things are going to go to make sure you have plenty of room to entertain and to have lots of parties. There are a lot of important details going on right now here. We are about to pour concrete tomorrow. We're getting ready for it. So on our end, we want to make sure that we have drain boxes set in the correct place, but also just another quick thing to consider. I always like to have drain boxes underneath containers. So we're going to have a container there, and we're going to have another container over there. So that way you don't have a bunch of water going all over the concrete. You know how it forms that moldy and it looks gross, and I just can't stand it. So we make sure that we put drain boxes underneath every container, so that way the water has a place to go and everything stays nice and neat and clean. Okay, so we're just before everything, we're forming the driveway up, making sure everything lines up and making sure everything is perfect. We like to see everything placed, laid out. This is gonna be our bluestone coming off the front. This will be all bluestone here. That's gonna come to a bluestone T, and then our gorgeous motor court. We're super excited about this detail in the driveway. So we have a really big motor court that's going in, so there's plenty of room for people to turn around, plenty of room for UPS trucks, all kinds of great things, and lots of parties. But to help break up this space, we've put a design here in the center. This is going to be exposed aggregate, but then to help break it up, we're doing a beautiful banding. And I can't wait for you to see what it's going to look like. Always very, very, very important to make sure you put plenty of sleeves. So that way they can run all kinds of stuff under your driveway. Getting ready to pour hopefully in a few weeks. We want to make sure we have plenty of sleeves so we never have to bore under the driveway. Very important. Sleeves. Okay, so we are in the process of trenching for irrigation. Now there's a huge map that we lay out, and we think long term about everything. So we make sure that there are the right type of amount of water is going to trees, containers. Lots and lots of thought goes into making sure that we've got the right amount of water going to the right places, and trenching in for it right now. This is what we like to see. Trucks and trucks coming in. Mixing the organic stuff. Maybe also I just wanted you to see we're working on the final grade. How pretty. So we have our beautiful boxwoods. Okay, so we are planting a beautiful ginkgo. And I also wanted to show you, this is one of my favorite hollies. It's an azure holly, and it stays nice and tall and slender, and that really rich evergreen color, which looks beautiful against the White House. But this is a fabulous holly that we love to use. Like I said, it stays nice, tall, and slender. Okay, so I always like to incorporate early spring blooming trees in the landscapes, and these are gorgeous crab apples, and I cannot wait for you to see what they look like. But they're beautiful. So when guests arrive in the spring, they'll have this gorgeous entryway of prolific blooms. One of my new favorite plants is this drift rose, and of course, you know, I love the white and green, and it's starting to bloom right now just because we've had some warmer weather. But this is the white drift rose. Great for low ground cover, and we're using it in front of an evergreen planting and a beautiful ginkgo. Okay, so another detail is we've planted mondo in the corners of the arrival port, and the goal is eventually we're going to have these big, beautiful aged terracotta containers with the boxwood that'll sit in there, and so that'll flank the corners of the driveway. Okay, another really pretty detail that we've done here. So of course there's going to be beautiful ironwork that's going to connect the columns, and we've planted ladybanks, which is a gorgeous rose, so that way it'll be beautiful and blooming. So there'll be a solid, gorgeous wall of ladybanks around the motor court and the arrival court for the guests. It'll be so pretty. This is our terraced perennial garden, and there's so many great things that I love about this, but one of them is it literally functions so you can walk off of the stairs and use this, the capstone, as a sidewalk to tend to the perennial beds. But we've just started with the first layer. We've got the boxwoods in. Those are wintergreens. Next, we're adding in the rosemary. We're going to anchor each end with the rosemary. And then we're going to use lavender. But we're going to wait a few more weeks. Probably early spring is when we're going to load it up with perennials like delphinium, foxgloves, all kinds of different beautiful perennials. So this way, when everyone is looking up down from the pool, they're going to have this gorgeous view of a perennial bed. And another detail that we actually custom make for our clients. So when you've got shrubs that are going to get really tall, these are lime whites, they're going to be beautiful. And then we've got tea olives here. These are risers, so at the top of this water is going to spray out in the correct direction. But we hand make these, they're just cut out of copper. So that way, you know, you don't have like the yucky metal look in front of your home. But we like to do this directly in front of our client's home. We custom make the risers so they look nice and beautiful. Even the sprinklers have to look pretty. This is another view. Actually, I think this is my favorite part of the install. We have 4 nice, beautiful boxwoods with a beautiful hedge, dogwoods, azaleas, limelight. So you can imagine what this garden pathway to the pool is going to look like in the springtime. We have white drift roses, limelight, and we're gonna layer in some irises and some more beautiful things, but all of the joints have that beautiful, well, it's not pretty right now, but this spring, this will be filled with mazuz, and it's the tiniest blue and white blooms, and it's gonna look so pretty, and it's a true garden pathway. And look at that phenomenal view. I know this does not look pretty right now, but come spring, all of these beautiful tiny little babies, this is mazuz. And I'm gonna post a picture next, but it's gonna be filled in. It's a perennial, it comes back every single year, but instead of having concrete all the way around a pool, we always like to break it up and have these other little areas that just add an extra special interest. We are getting ready to lay sod. We got gorgeous view, and the sod's coming tomorrow. So we are shooting the grade because we are making sure that the water is going exactly where it needs to go, and there will be no puddling of water. So we're shooting the grades on every single inch. Okay, Bill, so we have everything obviously no one's going to drive. Before the guys leave tomorrow, they're going to flag this off, and they're also going to flag off the areas coming off the driveway, so no one will be able to drive over here anymore. But gonna have a pretty soccer field. They'll finish putting that sod out tomorrow, and we're getting close. We're getting close. It's gonna be so pretty in the spring.